Do you know what, Johan? Today is the 18-year anniversary of my solo break in the Tour de France.
Oh.
Which was, of course, 2007, which also started as a joke. I said in the morning to the journalist, I'm going to go out today because it was the anniversary of Tommy Simpson's death. The 50th anniversary. And so I decided to go up the road to honour Tom Simpson. And I thought, people would come with me. No one came with me. I spent 207 kilometres alone in the front that day. And it was today, the 13th of July, 2007.
So it was 2007. So which stage was that?
It was the stage to Bourg de Boison. Tom Boonen won the stage. I got caught with 4 kilometers to go. My breakaway is 207. It's still the 7th longest solo break in Tour de France history. Little stat there.
I'm the 2012 Tour de France winner, Sir Bradley Wiggins.
And I'm Johan Bruyneel. I directed my teams to 9 Tour de France victories. Welcome to the Sir Wiggo and Johan Show, our daily show where we dive deep into the tactics behind every stage of the Tour de France.
Welcome back to the Sir Wiggo and Johan Show. We are talking today about stage 9 of the Tour de France, from Chinon to Châteauroux, 174 kilometers, as every day presented by Ketone IQ. I'm here with Bradley Wiggins, and we're going to ask him a few questions, what his opinion is about certain things. Bradley, first of all, as every day, what is Bradley's take of the day? What do you
take of the day? I mean, there's a few things today, but the main one today was Mathieu van der Poel's attack from kilometre zero, pretty much, and getting caught with 1 kilometre to go, and two with a teammate as well. But that was an incredible effort. Didn't quite come off, but we're all left wondering what it was about.
Yeah. And I agree. This was definitely the event of the day. Respect to Tim Merlier who won the stage, but this was definitely the talk of the day. I'm going to guess on all the TV stations, in the caravan, amongst the riders in the peloton, and now also after the stage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I want to talk to you, Johan, about one of our sponsors today, Zwift. So Zwift recently rolled out its new Cog and Clicked product. It's such a simple yet brilliant product. You can use it almost on any bike you already own, even one from Walmart. Point being, your bike doesn't have to cost $5,000 and still feels like when you're on top-end smart trainer. Zwift ready trainers are available from all top manufacturers: Wahoo, Garmin, Elite, Jet Black and Decathlon, setting a new benchmark for indoor training. All Zwift ready trainers come with the new Zwift Cog and Click installed, making them ready to ride from the box, no extras needed. So simple and no need to remove your cassette. Zwift ready trainers start at just $299, meaning anyone can jump into a world-class indoor training without breaking the bank.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I've
good idea, isn't it?
It is. It's amazing, and I'm fortunate that Zwift provided me with the Zwift Ride, which also has this virtual cassette integrated, and it really also a part of the setup, which is really very simple, but it enhances the experience, because if you combine it with the handlebars, the handlebar that Zwift has, it's like you're playing a video game. It's really good. We all know that indoor riding can sometimes be a bit monotone, but this actually increases the experience a lot. Okay, Bradley. So as we said, we had this attack from kilometer zero. First, Jonas Rickaert, joined by Mathieu van der Poel, both riders from Alpecin. Quite audacious in a sprint, in a stage that everybody thought and was almost convinced that it was going to be a bunch sprint. What do you think? Like when you saw it, I don't know if you saw it, but once you started watching, you for sure found out that they went from kilometer zero. What do you think the plan is behind that?
Do you know what? I have no idea what the plan. I mean, we're witnessing these kind of things now in modern day cycling, where, from my time and obviously your time, it was unheard of, these kind of things, and we're seeing more and more of it where we can't explain, relating to our time, what the tactic was. Knowing what it's like to be a week into the Tour de France. And having watched the race this week and seeing how hard it's been and understanding how hard it's been and even thinking this is even harder than my time. You have a semblance of kind of an understanding of how these riders must feel in the bus. But, maybe Van der Poel's is different, because Van der Poel is very, very special and unique. But his teammate, Rijkaard, I mean, I can't imagine that he would have been sat there this morning at 88 kilos, a week into this Tour de France and how it's been, thinking, you know what, I fancy a whole day up the road today, hovering at 5 minutes and lasting till a few K to go. With tomorrow in mind and how the Tour has been up to this point. I imagine we said these 2 days, transition stroke sprint stages, would be a welcome break for the riders in terms of a recovery and maximising the recovery and maximising the days where you don't have to think too much. So to go up the road with your team leader in Mathieu van der Poel, I mean, I wouldn't fancy going out on a training ride in my prime for 5 or 6 hours with Mathieu van der Poel swapping off. So to do it in a stage of the Tour de France.
Yeah, I thought the performance of Ricard is, listen, Van der Poel, we know he's a one of a kind, and he can pull things out of his head that, can say, okay, it's impossible, but it's Mathieu van der Poel, so it is possible.
Of course, anything's possible.
Ricard today was incredible. Both more or less both are the same height, I would say. Ricard, he's 88 kilos, but, not very arrow. Mathieu, if he wants, he's pretty arrow also. And to be able to do that with your leader at this speed, that was quite the thing. But, I listened to Mathieu van der Poel after the stage, and actually, initially it was not a plan. It started as a joke in the bus. So apparently, the story is that Jonas Ricard in the bus, and already probably a few times told that it's his dream to at least once in his career to be on the podium of a Tour de France stage.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what? Probably the easiest way to do that is to win the most aggressive rider of the day.
Yeah.
So that's why he attacked. And Mathieu said, well, we'll go together. So Ricard thought it was a joke. But then, so Ricard attacked. And then when he saw Mathieu coming, and he started to relay. Yeah. And once they had a minute, Ricard said, well, it was a joke, but now I found out it's serious. So here we are, And I think sometimes these things happen, but I was surprised that the peloton let them take, at some point they had 5.5 minutes or almost 6 minutes. You would still think, okay, it's a flat stage, but anyway, got caught by the peloton with not less than a kilometer, 700 meters to go. I was cheering for him, man. Something like this, that would have been quite the ride if he could pull this off.
Do you know what, Johan? Today is the 18-year anniversary of my solo break in the Tour de France.
Oh,
which was, of course, 2007, which also started as a joke. I said in the morning to the journalist, I'm going to go out today because it was the anniversary of Tommy Simpson's death, the 50th anniversary. And so I decided to go up the road to honor Tom Simpson. And I thought, people would come with me. No one came with me. I spent 207 kilometers alone in the front that day. And it was today, the 13th of July, 2007.
So it was 2007. So which stage was that?
It was the stage to Bourg de Boison. Tom Boonen won the stage where I got caught with 4 kilometers to go. My breakaway is 207. It's still the 7th longest solo break in Tour de France history. Little stat there.
Yeah. Wow. You were on Cofidis. Yeah.
And the director who was with me all day in the car next to me was Bernard Kiffin.
Bernard Kilfin, passed away sadly a few years ago. Yeah, really nice guy, super nice guy. Great. Yeah, I remember.
But if there's any race you want to be in a breakaway, either alone or with another rider, any other race, it would be, it would just be the worst thing in the world, wouldn't it? You wouldn't want to be out there. But the Tour de France, once the helicopters come up and you're on live TV and the world's watching, it actually goes very quick.
Yeah. That must have been quite the experience. How far from the finish? How far from the finish did you get caught?
5 kilometers. 5 kilometers. Yeah.
Wow.
I had, when I was out there, I had a 17.5 minute lead at one point. and I remember thinking that day, I thought, right, I've got a chance of winning here and taking yellow. Yeah. Because I remember it took me back to the 1997 Tour de France. I remember watching on telly. I was 17. It was 10 years before that. And Cedric Vasseur did a solo breakaway for GAN. And he got 17.5 minutes. And I remember sitting there on the bike thinking, Cedric Vasseur got 17.5 minutes. He took the jersey and took the stage. He was running for Gann at the time, and I thought the same thing's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
But then the last 100K was into a headwind, and the time came whittling down, and it wasn't to be. But I got the most combative that day.
So that was your first time. That was also your first time on the Tour de France.
I got the Coeur de Lion.
Coeur de Lion.
I got my body weight in cheese. My body weight in cheese that day.
yeah. Those were the days. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, so we have those two riders up front, and as expected, we have Little Trek starting to set the pace. Initially, just with one rider, with Thibaut Nys pulling in the bunch. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys on the move have talked about it. George must have been happy to see that, right?
Yeah, George was very happy,
Did he already get over his frustration from yesterday?
Yeah, well, I think he was still quite angry about it last night at dinner.
Well, so anyways, it was clear that was just to maintain, because Little Trek with one rider, they were never going to bring back those two riders, and especially it was cross tailwind most of the day, so those two guys went really fast, and at the mid stage, they had 5 minutes 57 or something, the two leaders.
Yeah.
And there you could start to see the conviction, of the Alpecin duo that, they could actually make it. I mean, normally you would say, there's no chance, but this is Mathieu van der Poel. That's the
difference.
Yeah.
Or Adria, as Phil Liggett kept saying all day.
Oh, he does. He was actually, I mean, I raced with Adri, and I was a teammate with him on Rabobank,
Yeah.
It's he was an amazing cyclist.
He was incredible.
Won Liège-Bastogne-Liège, won
Tour of Flanders winner.
Lombardy, Tour of Flanders.
Do you remember who he beat in the Tour of Flanders?
Sean Kelly.
Sean Kelly,
probably.
Yeah. The one race that eluded Sean.
Yeah. Sean has never won the Tour of Flanders.
No,
but like for Mathieu, I mean, if you have a father who's that good, and your father is not even half as good as Mathieu as the son,
no,
it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. And the other brother was really good as well for a time, wasn't he? There was another brother.
David. Yeah.
David was very good.
Who's now he's now a rider's agent. He's actually Mathieu's agent, and he's now an agent for a lot of cyclists, and doing a really good job, by the way, I've heard.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you could say, okay, this is a sprinter stage, but with those two guys up front and those speeds, I thought by myself, what? This is a horrible stage for the majority of the peloton. It's not like you have to pay attention all the time.
Yeah.
But so anyways, crosswinds the whole day. One particular thing that I think we should talk about is we could see already before half stage, João Almeida. João Almeida got in trouble. It was, the speeds were high. He got dropped. He got brought back in the caravan, and then finally, he has to abandon. I think that's only logical.
There's no. It was always going to be. It was always a tough order, wasn't it, for him to? Yeah. We know what it's like to break ribs. We said yesterday, but not just the rib. He went down heavy, and it's sad. It was sad to see him hovering off the back, actually, because I think he was. Tadej aside, again, I keep saying it, but Tadej, if you take Tadej out of this race, which, stranger things have happened in terms of if Tadej crashed or something, the GC would be wide open. And someone like Almeida, if he's still close, as Matteo Jorgens is to his team leader, it would have been a very different race. But
I think that puts, unfortunately, they lost Almeida. Let's not forget, he's the most successful stage racer this year of the whole peloton. Spencer also made some calculations, and he said, he's probably the third best climber in this race.
Yeah.
Seeing his performances in the Tour of Switzerland and Romandy and Basque Country. And so he would have been, I mean, it's actually scary to have a rider like Almeida at your service for the other riders.
When does teams. Almeida get a shot at winning a Grand Tour himself?
It's going to have to be the Giro or the Vuelta.
I mean, if you'd have put him in this year's Giro, I think it would have been a very different result to the Simon Yates display that he did on the last day.
Probably. But he has. Wasn't he second or third in the Giro one year?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but he was still on Quick Step, I think.
He was.
And so I mean, I think he deserves to have a chance. I think that's going to be his next step. Look, so this year he was focusing on those 1 week stage races, and already in the planning of the season to be the guy next to Tadej. So what do you think? What do you think will happen now, Bradley, with Almeida out? We have some hard stages coming up. Obviously, this is in the advantage of Visma. How do you think Visma has to play, and how do you think UAE has to now adapt after losing Almeida?
I think Visma are in an ideal position now, as a unit, as a team. Obviously, the jury's out in terms of how good Sepkus will be, which we'll find out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But with Jonas and Matteo Jorgensen lying pretty much together in the GC, they've got all the cards to play now, and they're going to have a very good think about how they do that, how they play those cards. But Tadej, I don't know. I mean, if we were talking about anyone else other than Tadej, I'd be worried for that team and for that leader. But you always get to the point, does Tadej need a team? I mean, he's that good, isn't he? And we were saying before we came on this recording, you were saying about the Strava files and just how effortless he is through the stages compared to other riders. I mean,
we'll bring him up in another show in the next days. But I've done some research, and I've done it last year already. It's incredible how efficient this guy is in the peloton. If you see his calorie consumption compared to some of the rivals, it's mind blowing. We'll save those files for another day.
So I agree with you. I mean, I think other riders around Tadej will have to step up into a position who hadn't anticipated having to step up into a position. But we've already seen that. The job Tim Wellens has been doing since the start of this race is phenomenal. You know, and I watched him win the Belgium Championship. I was over in Belgium at the time. And that Belgium title has almost given him a new lease of life. And you can see how much he's enjoying riding in that role, and the camaraderie he has, and the friendship he has with Tadej, and Tadej giving him the King of the Mountains chance. And so Tim Wellens is now going to be the most crucial rider, I think so. Going through these next 2 weeks.
They have Tim Wellens, they have Adam Yates. Adam Yates really
Adam will be good. Adam will be good.
And I think Marc Soler is also quite good right now. But I agree, if you look at the strength, Visma versus UAE right now, it's okay. If you take Tadej and Jonas, then you had Jorgensen and Almeida, and now they lose that card, right? So my question is, however, what is it exactly that Visma can do? They can send. I mean, whoever they send in front, even Simon Yates, he's out of the GC. If he's in front, it doesn't really matter. It matters that there's a rider in front in case Jonas gets up the road. But Tadej really needs to only focus on two guys. He doesn't let Jorgensen go away. And still, I would still say, until now, Matteo has never been even close to Tadej in an overall classification. So if Jorgensen goes up the road, it will have to be on a climb. If it's not on a climb, UAE has the manpower to shut it down. And if Tadej follows Jorgensen, as he has done already in another stage, Jonas will be on the wheel. And then what? If there are three guys, what are they going to do? It's not like the thing is that right now what we've seen compared to, because everybody goes back to that stage of Col du Granon. Was it 2022? Yeah, it was 2022 when they broke.
Tadej,
right? With Primoz, and that was different. And I think there, UAE and Tadej made a mistake by considering still Primoz as a candidate, which he was not, because he had already had a bad crash. And so he actually let him seduce there to a game that he shouldn't have played. And what we've seen until now, no matter how strong the competition is, the team, if they're aggressive, once Tadej goes, it's him versus Jonas. There is nobody else inside.
No.
So, and on top of that, what I think people should also understand, that the Tour de France is not the same like any other race. If Jurgensen goes up the road, he's a rival for Remco, for Vauquelin, for anybody who has a top 5 ambition. So you automatically get assistance, right? Which is different to other races. So it's going to be interesting, But I think the loss of Almeida, it's definitely, at least mentally, it's a game changer. I think it kind of takes away that feeling of safety, which I think they had in the past. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting. I mean, I think 24 hours from now, when we're sat here discussing Monday stage, we'll have a better idea. We'll have a clear idea of, because this is, although it's not a mountain stage, I think this is shaping up to be the hardest stage of the race.
Could be,
but it could be a very different thing. If we're sitting here tomorrow night and Tadej has put more time into Jonas, then I just don't see where anyone can go after that. And
tomorrow is key for Visma and Jonas. Jonas needs to be with Tadej tomorrow. I think he will be. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And it's still, this stage still doesn't suit Jonas down to the ground. It's the longer climbs that are really going to suit Jonas. So that's where we'll get a true. I mean, I know it was a different story in the Dauphiné on the longer climbs, but I think Jonas is in better shape than he was at the Dauphiné, which is always your plan, isn't it? To come good into the third week of the race.
Yeah, for sure. Before we go on, I wanted to talk about Ketone IQ, our presenting sponsor. We all know that ketones are widely used in today's cycling. My preferred format is this one here, the 10-gram ketone shot, no sugar, no caffeine. And it's been scientifically proven that ketones boost the athletic performance. Ketone IQ, in a placebo-controlled study with trained athletes, discovered that ketones boosted the sprint power by 19%, the peak power by 13%, gut fatigue by 10%, and spiked blood ketones 5 times in just 20 minutes. In terms of Tour de France cyclists, it's also been found out that ketones help tremendously for a faster recovery. Ketone IQ is the sponsor of Visma Lease Bike, and together with Visma and the University of Leuven, they did another study to explore recovery and high altitude adaptation, and their key findings are improved blood flow, higher muscle oxygenation for better endurance and stamina. So go to ketone.com and enter the code TheMove20 at checkout for 20% off. So that's ketone.com, entering the code TheMove20 at checkout. All right.
So
what
Johan,
else do we have?
I got a question for you for tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you were the DS at Visma Lease Bike,
Yeah.
what would be the ideal strategy? Well, how would you play this one with a view of winning the Tour? Because they're not just riding for second place at this Tour de France.
No.
They've got to. I mean, how do you play it tomorrow?
I think tomorrow is a stage. It's part of a longer strategy of wearing out day by day. Personally, I think tomorrow there's not much they can do. Let's not forget, because we've seen these comments. Yeah, we want to make the race hard for Jonas. It's better for Jonas, probably, but it's also better for Tadej. And they're always talking about isolating him. I mean, isolating Pogačar is probably more interesting in an easier stage because you have better chances to play with the majority of the riders you have. But on a difficult stage, isolating Tadej means that it's going to be, they're going to isolate Jonas also because it's only going to be Jurgensen and if Simon Yates is going to be good, which I suspect he will. And Sepp Kuss, that's still a question mark. I mean, everybody says Sepp Kuss, but we haven't seen anything from Sepp Kuss until now. I hope that we can see the Sepp Kuss again from the good days. If you look at that, if as you said, Tim Wellens is in great shape. Adam Yates will be there, and now more than ever, this guy knows that now with Almeida gone, he needs to step up.
Yeah,
and he will, and he will. I'm pretty confident he will. I think it's just a matter of, okay, making the race hard. And I personally think they can only beat Pogacar if they push Pogacar to make mistakes. Because wearing out everybody, it's going to wear out their own teammates also. And at the end, it's going to be Tadej versus Jonas.
Do you think they give too much away now in interviews as well, like telling us what they want to do and what they're attempting to do?
I mean, the thing is also, what can we believe?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it all true?
Is it a decoy? Right? Yeah.
Is it all true? I cannot. I keep thinking that their whole plan is based on, let's wear him out. Let's wear him out, his team physically and him mentally. And I think that these little, interviews of, criticizing one and the other, that's good for them, because that kind of puts Tadej on edge, and it's all energy you don't need to spend.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, getting irritated in interviews. I mean, the question is, does it really affect Pogacar? We don't know.
I don't think anything does. I don't think.
Yeah. But anyway, so we coming back to the stage of today, Bradley. So with about 72K to go, we see that at that point, I was thinking, I don't know what you think. These guys still have a considerable advantage, the two riders, and we see that little Trek accelerates in the crosswinds. Actually, Jonathan Milan himself was taking the initiative, and that kind of took a minute off, but then people came back and it kind of slowed down again. That was the first time I thought, okay, you know what? They may have a chance because the teams were running out of riders to do the job.
Yeah, that's true. And then we saw Visma get involved with Jonas himself on the front.
Yes, well, that was closer to the finish. That was like 20-30K to go.
Yeah,
Visma started an echelon, Jonas himself, and then the difference came back to 1 minute 30. So by then, I was thinking probably a 50-50 chance that they could make it, especially because it was Mathieu in the front.
Yeah. Also a slight uphill finish in the final didn't help Mathieu, I think. And a few more bends and maybe the odd crash, and that would have helped him in that running. But it was a shame. It really, really sad to see him actually get so close, but so far.
He went deep, man, today. His interview after the finish was, he was, okay, it's not going to break or make his career, of course, but he went really deep. It took him a while before he could start answering and actually thinking straight. I mean, both of those guys did an amazing job. I would want to see that power file and see their calorie expenditure of those two riders. So 50 kilometers average, which is the second fastest stage ever in the Tour de France, done by only two riders, which is incredible. Normally, if you have a fast stage like this, it's either the peloton, obviously with a tailwind, an easier stage, or a big group. I think the fastest stage is still, as of today, I don't remember the year, but I think it's Pablo Lastras. He was on Banesto, or was it Movistar? And he's now the director of Movistar, one of the directors. And it was a big breakaway. I remember that. But yeah, 50K average. It's crazy. Over 171 kilometers. We get to the finish, and finally, heartbreaking, but Mathieu gets caught after Ricard couldn't help him anymore. And we have the typical, the sprint, right? So Merlier wins, Milan second, Arnaud Delis third. First time we see him back in a good spot. I'm happy to see that. He was very, very happy after the finish.
Yeah.
But we talked about it, and you guys talked about it already on the move yesterday, I think. Jonathan Milan versus Tim Merlier. I want to pull up the picture here of Merlier sprinting and Milan sprinting. And if you look at the difference in frontal area, Bradley,
it's incredible.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you watch the overhead shot as well of the sprint, for a big, powerful guy, Jonathan Milan, he pedals a smaller gear than most. He almost looks undergeared for the power and the torque that he's producing in those sprints. But he's so unorthodox, isn't he? It's just different to watch, but it works for him at times, and then at other times, obviously, it doesn't. But when it's as close as this and it's a drag race to the finish, you have to think that someone who's a lot more aero and a lot more efficient in their sprinting and the way they apply the power and get the effort out will get the better of him every time.
Yeah, I haven't seen the speed in the sprint, but I'm going to guess it's around 65, 67 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
And if you see that difference in frontal area, that makes a huge difference, no?
Yeah, I mean, even when we were watching that sort of last 30K and Visma on the front and Campenaerts, you could see how aerodynamic Campenaerts was. Mm-hmm. And watching Wout behind him, taking quite a bit of wind on Campenaerts. But then 4 or 5 back, we saw Milan, who was just compared to Campenaerts. So even in those crosswinds and all those lineouts, Milans are working that bit harder than everyone else.
Yeah,
because of his.
It's strange. It's strange if you think, Bradley, that it's on his road bike because he's a pursuiter, right? He's world champion for kilometer pursuit, world record holder, and super aero,
I know.
right?
Yeah. Mm.
Or is he not as aero as anybody else?
No, I mean, he is. It's just obviously on the road bike is a different thing.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line on a road bike between being efficient and being aerodynamic in the modern day of cycling.
Yeah, for sure.
And being able to get that power out. But he actually looks taller than 6'3". I mean, he's the same height as me. He's the same height as me.
Well, you're tall. You're very tall. You're very tall. So yeah. So are you? What are you? 196.
Yeah, 190. Yeah, 190, 191.
Okay, well, he's 196.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Do you think that it could be that the fact that he's obviously has a high cadence? Do you think that could be to his track background?
There's part of it, definitely.
Years?
Yeah. They did a thing on these. Steve Bruyneel did a thing on NBC looking at his bike, and it was funny. He rides 175 cranks on the road, which are quite short for his height, from my era anyway. But a lot bigger than most are using in this day and age.
Today that's long. That's super long.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Second stage win for Merlier. Third stage win for Soudal Quickstep. As you pointed out, also Bradley. Fourth stage win for Belgium.
Yeah.
Out of 9 stages, it's been different in the past. So yeah, I mean, I guess yesterday on the move, you guys were talking about how Soudal Quickstep had decreased in their quality, but hey, out of 9 stages, they won 1/3 of the stages already.
Yeah, it's incredible. They've won 4 stages in this race, leading the white jersey competition.
Yeah,
second on GC. So it's
also
So they're not doing too bad, considering a week ago we were saying what a disappointing tour they were having.
And thinking also, Bradley, that Merlier comes here with 1 lead-out guy. It's a team concentrated on. I mean, it's actually initially when they announced that Merlier was going to go to the tour, nobody agreed. Remco had agreed to it, but imagine what it does to the morale of a team to have, after 9 stages, 3 stage wins. Whatever they do now is a bonus, right?
Yeah.
And Merlier, man. I mean, he's like he's the super sprinter, right? I mean, he's the pure sprinter. I could see, when he was there in the right position, I think Milan started a bit earlier, but he just went his own sprint. Usually, I think when Merlier wins a sprint, he kind of goes and takes off on the other side. He almost never in the slipstream. He took off to the left, and it was a drag race, and he won by more than a bike length, right?
Yeah. I mean, he reminds me of sort of the old school sprinters, like Wilfred Nelson and Tom Steels. Yeah. He always finds a way to get to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
And when you're looking down on the sprint and you're concentrating on Milan and the people that you expect to be there, Merlier just comes up and glides through, a bit like Cav used to do, and finds a way to win, which is great. I love the sprinting like that. But yeah, it's great.
He's not the most expressive guy. Yeah? If you look at his interviews, he's very
reserved.
Yeah. I saw an interview, a very in-depth interview with him, and he says that's the way he is. He's just happy in his bubble. He's not very expressive, but he jokes when he's with his friends. But he could show a little bit more happiness. It's like, okay, I won another stage. His 12th stage win, 12th victory of the season already. Okay, before we talk about tomorrow's stage, I want to talk about our daily Ventum trivia, Bradley. Yesterday's question was, which rider holds the record for the most green jersey competitions overall in the history of the Tour? The answer was quite easy, I think. The answer is Peter Sagan. Today's question, I think, is also easy, especially for people who have watched the race on TV. Sir Mark Cavendish became the winningest rider in the history of the Tour last year with 35 wins, beating the famous record of Eddy Merckx with 34 wins. The question is, why has Stage 9's finishing town, Châteauroux, unofficially been dubbed Cavendish Town? So why has Stage 9's finishing town, Châteauroux, unofficially been dubbed Cavendish Town? So send your best guess, or if you know the answer, send it to ventumracing.com, and you will enter into the possibility at the end of this tour. We will draw a winner, a grand prize of $5,000 of store credit towards any Ventum bike you want to purchase. If you don't want to wait until the end of the tour, go on the website of Ventum. Ventum is offering a standing discount during the tour. You get 10% off the whole site for any bike using the code TheMove10 at checkout. If you want to purchase an NS1, the road frame road bike, you get 20% off with the code NS120. So ventumracing.com, enter your answer, and you will enter into the competition. Tomorrow's stage, we talked already about it, stage 10. I think this is the first huge appointment. I mean, the second appointment. I think the first appointment was a time trial, right?
Yeah. And a lot of meters of climbing tomorrow in a short.
Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the profile first. If Gabriel can pull up the profile. Look at that. 165 kilometers. There are 8 categorized climbs. Almost 4,500 meters. Yeah. Am I right, Bradley, to say that this could be more of a suffering fest for the majority of the peloton than any huge mountain stage?
Yeah, I think so. I think after the race, after the week we've had, and it goes straight up from the start as well. These are in some ways these are sometimes harder for the lesser riders and the guys at the back than the mountain stages. There's more of a clearer pattern to how the race develops in the mountains if you're in the gruppetto, isn't there? You've got an hour or so of suffering, and you know exactly when the gruppetto will form or when you need it to form in order to get into the time delay. But days like this could go for 3 hours and just break from the back, and you'll have rides everywhere over the road. So it's these are the harder ones. Because also, the stages like this, because it's not a mountain day, riders that don't expect to get through the stage will have to do the job early on for the teams and be there as long as possible. So it's they're the harder ones, definitely.
Yeah, seven category 2 climbs and 1 category 3 climb. 7 category 2 climbs, and they're all like just not long enough. I mean, so that it's basically accessible to anybody who has good legs, because it's not super steep. It's between 6 and 7.5%, all of them, except the last climb to the finish. That's 3 kilometers at 8%, which I think that's where we're going to see a battle between Jonas and Tadej. Then the other question is, will we see the battle between Jonas and Tadej for the stage win, or does a breakaway have a chance tomorrow?
That's a good question, isn't it? It's either way. If a break does last to the finish tomorrow, I think we'll see a battle of some sort behind,
for sure.
So it's and the what all eyes will be fixated on tomorrow is that battle between Jonas and Tadej. I mean, I think by nature of the fact that those guys will be at each other tomorrow, I think on the natural, for what Visma want to do and what they've stated they want to do constantly in this race, the natural inertia and the speed of the peloton in doing that will mean that nothing goes to the finish. But we saw it the other day when Ben Healy won, the right move, the right break. But this is on a different level tomorrow, this stage, compared to when Ben Healy won. So, and you've got to think as well, if we are racing hard tomorrow, which I no doubt they will, that in order for a break to get a gap and maintain a gap on these type of roads, we know the power difference that they have to be doing, to attack off of a roaring peloton that's, everyone's trying to get in a break. The power you have to sustain once you've got that gap is immense, and there's only a certain amount of riders that can do it, and it will go a la pedal, as the French say.
And especially already 10 days within the tour, by the 10th day is normally when like half the peloton is dead already, even if we didn't have the mountains yet. So everybody's dead, and there's not very many riders who can make it into the breakaway. No. And then on top of that, I think it depends on how aggressive Visma wants to be.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't really understand their tactics. So, they probably go again hard, especially in the final. But it may also be that Visma actually has a rider in the break. And at some point during the stage, they decide, okay, we're going to keep this rider up there and try to get the stage win. They haven't won anything yet. That's not what they're coming for. But I think at some point, you also want a stage win as a team, right? So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow, Bradley, for stage 10. Yeah. Huge day. And thank you, as every day, for being here. And speak soon.